Imagine a world where your next ChatGPT subscription doesn't just come as software, but with a robot in the box.
Mm.
Or where AI completely rewrites human knowledge itself, then trains on its own refined version.
Wow.
Sounds like science fiction, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But, well, parts of it are already starting to happen.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really plunging into this fascinating landscape where AI is evolving. I mean, just at an almost unbelievable pace. It's moving far beyond simple chatbots now.
Right.
We've gathered a bunch of sources, mainly looking at a recent AI Fire newsletter that was just packed with crucial nuggets. Our goal is to pull out the most important insights for you.
Mm-hmm. Our mission, as always, is to give you that shortcut, a shortcut to being truly well-informed. So we'll explore the frankly bold visions of Sam Altman and Elon Musk.
Yeah.
We'll deep dive into OpenAI's pretty ambitious master plan. Consider how AI is fundamentally shifting the job market.
Which is a big one.
It is. And then, something truly surprising, we'll unpack a new AI architecture that uses, get this, 100 times less compute than giants like Llama.
100 times less? It's going to be an insightful journey, I think. You know, what we're witnessing with AI right now, it almost feels like just the warm-up act.
Exactly. Just a taste of what's really coming.
Yeah.
Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, he's been dropping some really intriguing hints about this next phase. He's talking about a future where ChatGPT isn't just, an interface on your screen.
He hinted recently, didn't he, about subscriptions that might actually ship with physical robots.
He did.
That's a bold vision, right?
Yeah.
It's not just software anymore. It's AI having a physical presence in our lives. That feels like a significant leap.
It really does. And then you pivot to Elon Musk. His idea for Grok, his XAI chatbot, it's even more radical.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking about deleting and rewriting humanity's entire knowledge base and then training Grok on its own refined version to purge what he calls garbage.
It's kind of wild when you think about it, purging garbage.
Yeah.
It's the sheer scale of these visions, though, from both of them. It's immense. They're pushing us beyond just thinking of AI as tools.
Right.
And more into these pervasive, almost fundamental shifts in how we deal with information, even the physical world. It totally redefines what ubiquitous AI could even mean.
These ideas from Altman and Musk, they're so huge they almost sound like pure sci-fi.
Yeah.
Is there a realistic path to any of this, do you think?
I don't think it's just sci-fi. It's really about relentlessly pushing boundaries in, scale.
Right, pushing boundaries and scale. Okay.
Yeah.
So speaking of ambitious, let's unpack OpenAI's master plan.
Yeah.
Altman recently pulled back the curtain a bit on how they went from literally 8 people around a whiteboard
8 people?
to one of the biggest sites on the internet.
Yeah.
He talks about this AGI or bust conviction.
And their talent hack, as he put it, was frankly brilliant. By aiming for that truly one-of-one mission achieving AGI, they basically vacuum sealed the smartest 1% of people. People who genuinely cared about that single, incredibly difficult goal. That's how you go from zero revenue for years to just rocketing past every consumer app launch record ever with ChatGPT. It's an almost cult-like focus on the mission.
What's fascinating now is what Altman calls the product overhang. He says models like GPT-4o Mini and O3 are actually far more capable than what today's products expose. API prices are collapsing fast, and he hinted a powerful open source model is coming soon. So one better than you're hoping for.
Okay.
So this product overhang, it basically means the AI models themselves are much smarter than what we, the users, currently get to experience through the apps.
Yeah.
It's like having a supercar, but only being allowed to drive it in a school zone.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
Seriously. It's like we're stuck in the 1960s of AI product design or something. We're stacking these incredibly powerful Lego blocks of data, right? These foundational models. But we haven't truly built the castle yet. The full transformative applications, there's just so much untapped potential sitting there, waiting for the right builders.
He also pinpointed memory as his favorite 2024 feature. The vision here is an always-on AI agent that truly learns you.
Learns you.
It hooks into all your data, supposedly, and can proactively act on your behalf without spamming you with notifications. Imagine an AI that genuinely anticipates your needs. That feels like a game changer for personal productivity.
And here's where it gets really interesting, I think. He said hardware is on the table. Mentioned a new device coming, co-designed with Joni Ive, specifically engineered to make the interface just melt away.
Melt away.
Yeah. The goal is for the AI to become seamless, almost invisible in your life. No more apps, no more screens necessarily, just Assistance. Pure help.
Which brings us right back to that initial moment of wonder, doesn't it? Long-term, Altman genuinely seems to believe the high-tier ChatGPT subscription might actually ship with a humanoid robot in the box. Imagine that. A physical AI companion delivered right to your doorstep. I mean, that shifts the entire paradigm of human-computer interaction.
It absolutely does. But, there are significant limiting factors here. Altman is very clear about this.
Yeah.
Compute and energy are the new oil. He basically said that. OpenAI is sprinting to build the largest, most expensive infrastructure in the world. They openly wish our local devices, our phones and laptops, would shoulder half the workload. The real bottleneck soon won't be the algorithms, it's going to be energy. He even floated the idea of parking data centers in orbit.
Orbit. Okay.
Yeah.
So why does all this matter for you, listening right now? This ground shaking, as Altman puts it. I mean, startups especially can win big, but they need to stop just cloning ChatGPT.
Right.
They need to find those greenfield opportunities, those untouched spaces to really differentiate themselves.
And defensibility in this new era. It's not just about who has access to the best model anymore. It's memory, it's deep data integrations, and maybe most importantly, user trust.
Trust, yeah.
Those are the new moats, the things that will protect businesses. It's not just about building a better model. It's about building a trusted relationship with the user.
It paints this picture of what he calls one-person leverage. In Altman's 10-year view, a tiny team, armed with reasoning agents and abundant energy, could create an unimaginable superintelligence right at human fingertips.
Wow.
It's not just efficiency, it's fundamentally shifting what a small group of people can actually achieve.
So we're talking humanoid robots, seamless AI agents. It sounds incredible, but what's the practical limiter here? What's really holding us back from having these kinds of companions today?
Pure compute and energy scale. That's the bottom line.
Compute and energy. Okay. So from OpenAI's internal master plan, let's maybe zoom out a bit. Let's see how these visions resonate or maybe clash with other major players and thinkers in the AI space, pulling more insights from the newsletter.
Right. You mentioned Elon Musk's desire for Grok to rewrite the entire corpus of human knowledge and purge far too much garbage.
Yeah.
That's such a powerful, almost godlike ambition, isn't it? But that phrase, purging garbage, I mean, who defines what's garbage?
Exactly. That's the question. It opens up a whole can of worms about bias, about what gets included or excluded. It's a total double-edged sword. On one hand, yeah, the idea of a truly curated, maybe unbiased knowledge base sounds appealing. But on the other, the potential for one entity to dictate truth, that's profoundly unsettling. It's a fascinating, almost Orwellian thought experiment, really.
Then you have someone like Reid Hoffman. His view is quite different. He says AI will transform jobs, yeah, but not cause some white-collar bloodbath.
Okay, that's more optimistic.
Much more. He sees it as person plus AI, like an Excel for everything, augmenting human capabilities rather than just replacing them outright.
I still wrestle with prompt drift myself sometimes, so I completely get that person plus AI concept.
Right.
It's not about the machines doing everything for us. It's about a partnership where AI helps us be more efficient, maybe more capable, just taking friction out of our workflows.
But not everyone shares that level of optimism. Comic legend Paul Pope, for example, he isn't losing sleep over AI plagiarism. His worries are more fundamental.
Like what?
Killer robots and mass surveillance. A very different, maybe more existential kind of fear brewing there.
Huh. Yeah, different focus entirely. Meanwhile, you see companies like Amazon consolidating things. They're bundling QuickSight, Q Business, and Q Apps into a single Q Business Suite workspace.
Right. So the Q Business Suite is basically Amazon's combined toolkit for managing data and automating workflows from one place.
Exactly. It's all about streamlining business operations, making it easier for companies to actually adopt and use AI effectively.
And there was that fascinating anecdote from Jeffrey Hinton, often called the godfather of AI.
Oh, yeah.
He says Google throttled their early chatbots because they were worried about reputational risk.
Understandable for Google.
But OpenAI, back then, had nothing to lose, so they just pushed ahead. And apparently, when Hinton was asked about Sam Altman's moral compass, he just shrugged and said, "We'll see."
We'll see. Wow. That's very telling, isn't it?
It really is.
And you also had Mistral AI CEO Arthur Mensch raising a really good point about de-skilling.
De-skilling, meaning AI reducing the need for human skills.
Yeah, precisely. He argues that's the real danger, maybe more than just white-collar job losses. His concern is we need to keep humans in the loop. Otherwise, we risk getting lazy minds or losing critical faculties over time. That's a concern that resonates, I think.
Absolutely. So, given all these different perspectives, from Altman's robots to Hoffman's optimism to Hinton's caution, what's the immediate impact? How does this affect how people work, like today or tomorrow?
I think the consensus leans towards jobs will transform, not vanish. Think person plus AI.
Person plus AI. Okay. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about the bleeding edge. New tools and especially these architectural breakthroughs that are pushing boundaries beyond just making bigger and bigger models.
Yeah, this is exciting stuff.
The newsletter highlighted tools like FetchEye, meaning professional AI capabilities right onto any Mac app, and Julia's AI notebooks, letting you basically chat with complex data to whip up expert insights. These are practical applications hitting the market now.
Right, tangible tools. But then we get to the really deep technical dive. Meta's new AUNet. This is, well, it's potentially revolutionary.
It sounds like a huge deal because it's showing incredible efficiency. The headline was something like, byte-level AUNet chases Llama on 1% of the compute.
Exactly. So AUNet, to put it simply, it's Meta's new AI model architecture. It's designed for incredibly efficient language processing. It's a fundamentally different way of building these models.
Okay, different how? Why does it matter so much?
Well, first, it learns its own way to process language on the fly. That means no fixed BPE vocab is needed.
And a BPE vocab is?
That's the standard way AI models usually break text down into smaller pieces, like words or parts of words, so they can understand it. AUNet doesn't need that predefined dictionary.
Okay. And the second thing?
Second, it performs like neck and neck with traditional BPE transformers, the standard model type, but it burns about 100 times less FLOPs than a massive model like Llama 3.18b.
100 times, wow. And FLOPs are just...
Think of FLOPs as the sheer amount of computational muscle an AI model needs to flex to do its job.
Yeah.
So way, way less muscle needed here.
That is astounding. Efficiency over just brute force. It really hints at a coming wave of architectural gains in AI, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Not just throwing bigger and bigger GPU clusters at the problem and consuming more energy. We're actually getting smarter about how we build these models.
Smarter, not just bigger. It suggests a future where really powerful AI might run on much less hardware, maybe even locally more often. And there's this bonus, a cross-lingual freebie, they called it, because it works at the byte level, like the raw letters and symbols, low-resource languages get a performance bump automatically. Languages that don't have much digital data available for training.
So it helps level the playing field for different languages without needing tons of extra data.
Pretty much, which is huge for global accessibility, for making AI truly useful for everyone, not just those speaking dominant languages.
The big takeaway here seems to be that the tokenizer might be the next thing to disappear.
Yeah.
That tokenizer, the part of the AI that converts words into numbers for the model, this new approach could make that complex, often problematic, pre-processing step just obsolete.
Imagine AI just seeing raw data, letters, symbols, everything.
Could this new architecture, this AUNet, fundamentally change how we build AI from the ground up? Is it that significant?
Yes, I think it really hints at a new era of efficiency and much more dynamic language handling.
Efficiency and dynamic handling, got it. Mid-roll sponsor read placeholder. Okay, let's just take a moment to recap the core themes from this deep dive. We've explored these radical, almost sci-fi visions for AI's future, coming from leaders like Sam Altman and Elon Musk.
Robots and knowledge rewriting.
Exactly. We saw OpenAI's strategic push towards pervasive AI agents and even physical hardware like robots, hinting at a whole new era of interaction.
Then we broaden the view, looking at the ongoing transformation of jobs and skills, weighing those different perspectives, optimism versus, some real concerns about de-skilling or control.
Right. And finally, we just touched on those incredibly exciting new architectural breakthroughs like Meta's AUNet that are making AI potentially far, far more efficient.
Yeah, the efficiency angle is key.
It really feels like AI is moving rapidly beyond its warm-up act phase now. We're heading into something much more integrated, more powerful, and maybe, surprisingly, sometimes achieved with less brute force.
It's not just about bigger models anymore, it seems. It's about smarter models, smarter architectures, and how they're all going to reshape our daily lives.
So as you go about your day, maybe consider how these shifts might impact your own work or even just your daily life. Are you ready for an AI that learns you, that acts proactively?
And here's maybe a final thought for you to mull over, building on that AUNet idea. Consider how a byte-level understanding of language could change AI's ability to truly understand diverse data. Think about it. Code, emoji, maybe even nuanced inflections in voice someday, all without needing humans to pre-process it perfectly first. What new, maybe entirely unexpected applications could that unlock for all of us?
It's a fascinating future unfolding right in front of us.
Definitely is.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive today.
Yeah, thanks for listening. If you found this insightful, maybe share it with someone else who's trying to keep up with everything happening in AI.
We'll see you next time.